That was a very kind introduction. I think too generous to me. Thank you for being present in such huge numbers. Is it okay if I speak in Hindi also, or is Hindi not? असं तर मला मराठी पण बोलायला येतंय. पुण्याकडून आहे मी. पण if you don't mind, I like to speak in Hindi, although I can speak very well in English. Not because Hindi is above any other language, but Hindi essentially reflects, like many of our local languages and regional languages reflect, the spirit of Bharatiyata. And as you know, I have had enough of foreign influence in my party. I can do without a foreign language. Let me not make it very political though. I thank the organizers of Prabuddha Bharat, especially Sushant Joshi ji, Sachin Sabnis ji, and Chaitanya Kulkarni ji. I thank my kind co-panelist Madhu Kishwar ji. We are supposed to do this in the morning today, but unfortunately because I was doing another commitment in Rajasthan, as you know that I'm doing a television show, and there were no flights that were available to have brought me here in time. And so it was very kind on the part of the organizers and everybody else to accommodate somebody like me and shift the program for a few hours. But I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart for doing that, because I really wanted to be here. Before I come to the topic, this place where we are, Vishveshwaraya. Now you know I did it. You see, the inspiration that this place carries, it transforms you into something else. I was here when I came here half an hour ago. I just reached half an hour earlier. I took an overnight flight. I had to travel by car. I came here. But the moment I stepped in here, that energy and that zest of creativity and innovation that just seeped into me, and suddenly I feel a new energy that is bustling in this place, and I can feel it, and therefore I'm very happy to be here, because I feel that I have been charged with a new energy, and that energy is radiating from you as well. So thank you very much for doing that. आज का जो मुद्दा है वो ये है strength of Indian society and contemporary challenges. तो मैं सोच रहा था कि भारत के समाज की जो ताकत है वो क्या है असलियत में. What is the strength of Indian society? And there is only one particular strength that I think has been a constant in Indian society, because of which Indian society over thousands of years has grown and progressed and has taken us to this journey. And that strength is the ability to tolerate, the ability to hear the other person's point of view, the ability to be inclusive, the ability to say that I may not agree with you, but I still respect your point of view. Now a lot of you will be confused. आप लोग थोड़ा सा confuse हो जाएंगे, क्योंकि पिछले कुछ सालों में तो आपने यही सुना होगा कि असहिष्णुता, वो शब्द मेरे मुंह से ठीक से निकलता है. असहिष्णुता बढ़ रही है. Intolerance is rising. A lot of people who had been given awards by the previous government chose to return the awards in this government, hoping that they'll get awards in the next government. Is our society really becoming that intolerant? Are we really becoming a society where we cannot accept other people's point of view? I landed in Goa. And when I landed in Goa and we took the car to come from the airport to this venue, I saw dozens of churches. And I must have seen one small mandir. And Goa is a part of India. same India where 80%, almost 80% of people are Hindu. A lot of people have this misconception. मैंने कानून पढ़ा है, मैंने संविधान पढ़ा है. बहुत सारे लोगों को लगता है कि tolerance and secularism was suddenly imported into our country through some Western philosophies or through some leaders who read Western books, who are educated in a Western land, and then who happened to be at the right place and at the right time to give us freedom or to get us freedom from the Britishers at a very high cost, I must say, of partition of this country. And they believe, or some people believe, or some section of society believes, and some section of the media definitely believes, that tolerance and secularism is their gift to this country. Let me tell them and let me clear their myth that tolerance and secularism in this country is not even the gift of the Constitution of India. This is the gift of the people of India to itself. The fact that secularism and tolerance is there in the Indian Constitution, it is not because of that we are a tolerant society or we are a secular society or we are a plural society. It is there in the Constitution because India is inherently a plural society, India is inherently a tolerant society, India is inherently a secular society. And tomorrow, even if the Constitution as a document did not exist, and I'm not saying that it should not exist, please don't get it wrong, I'm a constitutionalist. I love Baba Saheb Ambedkar and I respect the work he has done through that great book called the Indian Constitution, which I consider to be my Bible, Gita and Quran. But I think that it is time for us to understand. If we have to understand the strength of Indian society, we have to understand what is the inherent composition of the Indian people. And the Indian people, rooted in the spirit of Bharatiyata, have always, from time immemorial, been plural, secular, and inclusive. And I can give you several proofs of that. By birth, I am a Muslim. I was born in a Muslim family. But I have always read the Mahabharata, Ramayana. I believe these are Indian texts. I don't believe these are Hindu texts. Or if you call them Hindu, then the definition of Hindu would be one that goes beyond the boundaries and domains of religion. Because Hindu is a term that is used to define everybody who believes in the Bharatiya culture, and I definitely believe in Bharatiya culture. I don't believe in Arabic culture. So what is the evidence in our history and in our culture and in our civilization towards that? Look at it. Today there is a lot of talk about Ram Mandir. Shri Ram Mandir banna chahiye, nahi banna chahiye. That is politics, it will continue. But if you see the first example, the first golden example of Sabka Saath and Sabka Vikas in our Indian history and civilization was Shri Ram. He was the truest example of Sabka Saath and Sabka Vikas. Imagine a Maryada Purushottam like Shri Ram, who did not require anybody's help. As far as I remember, he took the help of Vanar Sena also. As far as I remember, he took the help of Shri Hanuman also. As far as I remember, he took the help of squirrels also. That was the Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas philosophy, and that is because of the inherent ability to take everybody along. And that is there in our culture, it is in our DNA. It has not come through the Constitution. The Constitution reflects that aspect of our society which has always been there. So when people tell me, or when the media tells us, or when certain film stars tell us, or when certain award wapsi people tell us that India is headed towards a dangerous position, that tolerance is no longer existing in our society, that everything is coming to a standstill, that secularism is no longer going to exist and remain, we are going to become some sort of a fanatic theological state called the Hindu Rashtra. I tell them that when there was an opportunity for 5,000 years, that never happened. Why will it happen now? When we have accepted with open arms even those who came to our country with the sole intention of looting our resources, and we still adopted and adapted them also, why will anything happen to those who have always remained in our country? Because the political dispensation is not of your choice. Let us not undermine the strength of Indian society merely because politically we disagree with a certain government or with a certain ruling dispensation. Because when we do that, we are doing injustice to the idea of India. The idea of India is bigger than the BJP. The idea of India is bigger than the Congress. The idea of India is bigger than the Gandhi family. The idea of India is bigger than any personality in this country. Let us note that very clearly. No one person, no one prime minister, no one regime is going to change what the Indian people have committed to themselves, and that is making India a tolerant society where it has space even for its aggressors, leave alone those who have always been a part of this country. What do I feel? I sometimes drive the car on the road and I get very irritated when there are animals on the road. कहीं गाय दिख जाती है, कहीं और कोई कुत्ता दिख जाता है, और मैं सोचता हूं कि यार मैं अमेरिका की तस्वीरें देखता हूं, मैं जापान की तस्वीरें देखता हूं, वहां पे तो सड़कें इतनी खाली होती है, सिर्फ गाड़ियां तोड़ती है. ओनली कार्स ऑन द रोड्स, नॉट इवन अ साइकिल, नॉट इवन अ ठेला वाला, नोबडी, जस्ट द कार्स गेट टू गो ऑन द रोड. कितना मजेदार है ना. सोचिए, विदाउट एनी इंटरप्शन, विदाउट एनी डिस्ट्रप्शन, यू कैन टेक योर कार at a high speed on the roads, what it is meant for. But then I went back home and I thought about it. And I said, actually that is unfair. And India is actually more fair. I'll tell you why. The reason is that more than you and me who drive in our Toyota, who drive in our expensive cars on the roads, the real person who needs the road is actually the poor farmer who's taking his cow from one place to another. The person who is taking that thela needs the road more than us. And Indian roads, Indian society offers him equal space on that road, which even Japan and America does not offer. Indian society and Indian roads offer it. And we may feel frustrated at times, but we accept it. We tolerate it. And that is the reason why, despite everyone saying, at 1947, nobody gave us a chance. Nobody said we would last as a country. They said we would break up. They said that यहाँ चल ही नहीं सकता democracy. But we made space. And the essence of that is that the weakest person in this country, जो सबसे दबा कुचला है, जो सबसे पिछड़ा है, जो सबसे पुअर है, उसको भी जगह इस देश में मिलती है. और उसका उदाहरण हमारी भारत की सड़कें हैं. अगली बार जब आपको कोई ठेला वाला दिखेगा, गाय दिखेगी रास्ते पे, तो celebrate it, don't get upset with it. It is the story why India is successful. Of course, I don't take away that the transport authorities and the traffic authorities need to do their job. But look at our mindset. It is not a mindset we should be ashamed of. Our society is very adjusting and accommodating. Where else would it give the hope and the opportunity and the chance to a person like me? What is my background? Think about it. If I would have been a Hindu in a Muslim populated country like, say, Saudi Arabia or Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, whichever, Pakistan, do you think I would have an opportunity to be where I was in politics in this country? Do you think the organizers of Prabuddha Afghanistan would have taken so much effort to call me there? Do you think that a majority of this audience, which does not belong to the faith I belong to, would have come and heard me so patiently, even though I slipped up on the name of Vishweshwaraya ji? Now I got it right. This is the spirit of inclusiveness. Never feel the sense of inferiority that some sections in the media and some political sections may want to imbibe in you. They can play their political games, but the strength of Indian society should always be recognized and understood. We don't need certificates of Desh Bhakti from anybody. We don't need certificates of being a Hindu from anybody. But we also do not need a certificate of being tolerant from anybody. And especially we don't need the certificates of tolerance and secularism from those people who have given the biggest riots in this country, from Nelli riot to Hashimpura to Bhagalpur, all those riots whose regime it took place in, everybody knows, and how many people died, everybody knows. Why certain people did not return their awards at that point of time, that also everybody knows. I'm sorry, but I feel very ashamed that when, to score mere political points, entire Indian society, which is secular because the majority of this country is secular, is put on the stand. Please tell me, if this society was not secular, should not have the first bullet after partition been fired not on a practicing Hindu but on a practicing Muslim in this country, but it was fired on a practicing Hindu called Mahatma Gandhi. A Hindu laid down his life for Muslims to stay in this country. I don't need anybody else to give me a certificate of tolerance for my Hindu community. They have already proven their tolerance and secularism. They have proven it in 1947, just like the Muslims of India have proven where they want to be. They did not want to go to a Muslim Pakistan. They wanted to stay in an Indian, secular India. But every day, Indian society is being put on the stand. Every day, we are being told, we are being drilled, कि भारत के समाज में जो आज हो रहा है. Please think about your own experiences. I am sure everybody in this audience has certain Muslim friends. And if you don't have, today I am one of your friends, so you can count me in. Has your attitude changed towards any of your Muslim friends? Towards your Christian friends? Towards your Parsi friends? Nothing has changed in the last 4, 5, 6, 10 years. In fact, if anything, we as a society are moving towards a place where we see people not for the color of their skin, but for the content of their character, as had been said by Martin Luther King. We see them not for their religion, but for what they represent. And that is why I am standing here. I am standing here not because of my religion, not despite my religion, but irrespective of my religion. And that is the strength of Indian society and Indian people. It doesn't matter. The ability to adapt, the ability to amalgamate, the ability to absorb, the ability to make what is not ours also ours, and to give it a better shape and form. That is Bharatiya culture. Bharatiyata kya hai? Bharatiyata ye hai that when Shri Ram defeated Ravan, he advised Lakshman that even from Ravan we should take some gyan. We even learn from those who are our enemies. That is Indian culture. So there is no reason for us to suspect that something awry is going to happen, something dark is going to happen in Indian society if, supposing, some people who claim to be the thekedars of secularism don't come to power. Indian secularism, Indian society is far too strong to be dependent on one family, one club, and one political party. But there are challenges. And we can't be unmindful towards those challenges. What are those challenges? Let me just quickly run through them because a more prolific speaker is waiting to speak after me. And somebody who's more insightful, more researched, and somebody whom I have tremendous respect for, Madhu Kishwarji. The challenges that I foresee are that divisions are being created in our society every day. Every day we are being pitted against each other on caste lines, on religious lines, on economic lines. Why is this being done? Please understand that our country, if we are united for the next 30, 40, 50 years, our country will be a global leader. It will attain the position that it has to attain. It will be the superpower of the world. But there are forces outside our country. There are countries that are not friendly towards us. There is China. There are other nations that don't want India to succeed. And the simplest way to do that is to create divisions in society. But what is worse, what is terrible, is the fact that today they don't need to send people into our country. There are people in the political class and there are people in all sections of society willing to be the puppets and the agents of those forces and are trying to divide our society along these lines. Politically, you may oppose anybody and everybody. It is your fundamental right. It is your fundamental right to oppose the current government. It is your fundamental right to oppose the previous government. It is your fundamental right to oppose the next government. But when you oppose a government, and while you oppose the government, you have to make sure that in the opposition of a government, सरकार का विरोध करते करते आप भारत का विरोध ना करें. सरकारें बदलती रहती है, भारत वही रहेगा. और अगर भारत नहीं रहेगा तो सरकार का कोई महत्व नहीं रहेगा. आपकी सरकार जरूरी नहीं है, जरूरी है तो भारत के अखंड रहने का, जरूरी है तो भारत के एक रहने का, भारत की एकता जरूरी है. वो आपकी राजनीतिक सरकार आए ना आए उससे ज्यादा महत्व रखती है. पर टुडे व्हाट डू वी सी? फॉर mere small political gains, certain forces who are manipulating the poor, the Naxalites, they are called the number one terror threat, not by this government. They were called the number one internal security threat by Dr. Manmohan Singh. And even though I have huge differences with the Congress party and its culture of dynasty, I have tremendous respect for Dr. Manmohan Singh. So was Dr. Manmohan Singh wrong when he said that Naxalism is the biggest internal security challenge to this country? The term urban Naxals was not coined recently. It wasn't coined by any media channel. It wasn't coined by over-enthusiastic spokespersons of the ruling party. It was used in an affidavit in 2013 by Sushil Kumar Shinde, who was the Home Minister then. That the urban Naxals, that those who support Naxals on television, in debates, in intellectual platforms, are actually more dangerous than those who are fighting the guerrilla warfare in the villages of Chhattisgarh and Dantewada and in the forests there. This was said by the previous government in an affidavit to the Supreme Court. How then has that changed? जो कल तक आपके लिए नक्सलवादी थे, वो आज आपके लिए मानव अधिकार के लिए काम करने वाले कार्यकर्ता बन गए. ये कैसे हो गया? मतलब राजनीतिक विरोध करते करते आपने उन ताकतों को भी बल देने का काम कर दिया जो मूलभूत आपके देश के खिलाफ है. एंड व्हाट डू द Naxals डू? द Naxals go into creating fissures in society on economic lines. They do not allow the development programs and schemes to reach the ultimate beneficiary. They ensure that anarchy is prevailing in the areas where they are allowed to operate, where they continue to operate. Are the Naxals fighting for any cause? Any just cause? Their written objective is to overthrow the Indian state. Their written objective is to not have a constitution. Their written objective is to work on principles that are completely incongruous with the essence of this country and its democracy. And where has this red revolution, this Lal Salam, this comrade culture, name one country in the world where it has led to an egalitarian society, where it has led to a society which is free from totalitarianism, where it has led to a society which is not autocratic? China? North Korea? Which society can they show as an example? And they are inspired by those ideologies. So they would rather have a 95% functioning Indian democracy thrown out and replace it with a Chinese system or a North Korean system. Is that the way socialism and communism is going to thrive and give everybody their rights? And that's the way the proletariat will rise against the bourgeois? I don't think so. Ultimately, it is political power that they are fighting for. The problem is that they want to fight for this political power not at the strength of the ballot, but at the strength of the bullet. And therefore they are weak. And therefore they create these divisions in society. And these divisions are created on economic lines. Those divisions may not be very obvious to us because we are sitting far away from where that action is happening. But there are certain things that are happening amidst us. Caste lines are being used. The name of Dalit is being used over and over again. पर मैं आपको एक बात बता देता हूं कि जो दलित की सबसे ज्यादा बात करता है वो दलित की नहीं, वो दरअसल अपने दल हित की बात कर रहा है. अगर दल हित की बात नहीं होती और दलित की बात होती तो आप मुझे यह बता दो कि 70 साल में आज तक कितने दलित प्रधानमंत्री बने. गांधी परिवार से तो कई प्रधानमंत्री बन गए, दलित का समुदाय से एक भी प्रधानमंत्री नहीं बना. If you wanted to empower this caste that you are talking about, why did you not make them the Prime Minister? Why did you not make a Muslim the Prime Minister? Why did you not make the OBC a Prime Minister? Why did you not make anybody outside your family the Prime Minister? They don't even want to make party president. What they'll make Prime Minister? Manmohan Singh was accidental Prime Minister. Good man, but only by accident. Anyways, he did what most of was told to him by 10 Janpath. So the point is that do they really have the interest of that society or that community in their heart? On many debates I go, these Congress people, my friends, or at least I consider them to be friends. It's one-way friendship. Like one-way love. They tell me, अरे आजकल देखो हमने तो इतने मुसलमानों को टिकट दे दिया, भारतीय जनता पार्टी तो किसी को टिकट नहीं देती. मैंने बोला यार आप 5 को देते हो, वो 1 को देती है, दोनों में कोई फर्क नहीं. आप सेकुलर हो ना. आप मुझे बताओ पिछले 20 सालों में कांग्रेस पार्टी जो सेकुलरिज्म का राग अलापती है, द पार्टी विच इज सेइंग दैट इट हैज preserved secularism in this country, that it is fighting for the Dalits and Muslims of this country, I told them, give me 5 names in the party presidency in the last 20 years or as a chief minister that you have made from the Dalit and Muslim community. I will rest my case. I will campaign for you free of cost. They can't give. Unless now you see a Gotra certificate of Rahul Gandhi saying that he is from Dalit community. You never know he can say it. Every time election comes, before Ghoshna Patra, I find Gotra Patra is coming out now. I enjoy it. I'm not a Hindu. I thought I'll ask my Hindu friends. I thought I'll meet a lot of Hindus. Last time I checked, sorry to take it away from the topic, but this is a query in my mind. Last time I checked, your Gotra comes from Dadaji or Pitaji. But he has given Gotra from Indiraji's Pitaji. He skipped Firoz Gandhi ji. Now I don't know why he skipped Firoz Gandhi. So I have asked him, even during my show, that what is the Gotra of Shri Firoz Gandhi ji? I would like to know that so I can find out what is your Gotra. Anyways, I am not interested in your Gotra. I am interested in your karma, and your karma is not very good for me. So there are many of these, many political forces are misusing caste lines. I am saying today with conviction at my command that what is the most oppressed, most depressed, most discriminated section of people? It is the poor. Why should we then subcategorize the poor as Dalit poor and Brahmin poor? Thakur poor and Muslim poor? Shouldn't every poor person deserve the benefit of an affirmative action, irrespective of what his caste is? Why shouldn't that be an idea that this country thinks about? Maratha community, and I don't disagree with it because they are backward. But We have to move towards recognizing that there are backwards in every community. We cannot fault somebody for being a poor Brahmin. We cannot fault somebody for being a poor Thakur. Just like we have to recognize that a poor Dalit needs the help. Just like we need to recognize that a poor Adivasi needs the help. But the distinguishing factor between them should not be the Adivasi or tribal or Dalit or Hindu or Muslim or that category, but it should be the factor that they are poor. But poor को बाहर हटा देते हैं और जाति को सबसे ज्यादा तवज्जो देते हैं. And this is another challenge that I foresee in our society. And finally, that I see the third challenge in our society going forward is a challenge that is being created on the lines of religion. That is where I essentially started from. What is being done is that certain attempt is being made, and I'm very sorry to say, to create a sense of inferiority in the majority community of this country. That everything bad that happens in this country has happened because the majority community somehow is not doing its job. From starting, the onus has been on the majority community. Why? देश को सेक्युलर रखना है तो मेजॉरिटी कम्युनिटी को सेक्युलर होना पड़ेगा. नहीं, मैं नहीं मानता. आई एम अ माइनॉरिटी कम्युनिटी, और इफ यू थिंक आई एम अ माइनॉरिटी कम्युनिटी, बट आई थिंक दैट देश को सेक्युलर रखने में जितना शहजाद पूनावाला का योगदान है, उतना मधुकेश्वर जी का योगदान है, उतना सुशांत जोशी का योगदान है. किसी का कम या ज्यादा क्यों हो? क्योंकि उसका नाम सुशांत जोशी है तो उसके ऊपर जिम्मेदारी ज्यादा और मेरे पे कम जिम्मेदारी. सुशांत जोशी है तो उसको राम मंदिर का सपना देखना अलाउड नहीं, और शहजाद पूनावाला को बाबरी मस्जिद का सपना देखना अलाउड है. ये मेरे पल्ले नहीं पड़ता. आई कैन नॉट अंडरस्टैंड दिस. दिस feeling that is being created of insecurity, inferiority, and then creating divisions amongst the majority community. As a member of, not, even though I'm not from the Hindu community in that sense, I'm not a Sanatan Dharmi, I think it is the biggest injustice to do to this country is majority community on the test on every single day, sometimes by saying Hindu Taliban, Hindu Atankvad. भाई, यू से इस्लामिक आतंकवाद मत बोलो, मैं तो सपोर्ट करता हूं इसका, मत बोलो. इस्लाम इज नॉट ऑल अबाउट आतंकवाद. हार्डली 0.1% of people use or misuse the name of Islam. That doesn't mean that the 99.99% of practicing Muslims who don't believe in that philosophy should be made to feel ashamed for the actions of a handful. So then how come there is Hindu Atankvad? If there is no Islamic Atankvad and you say that don't put any adjective before Atankvad, why do you then say Hindu Atankvad? Why do you say Bhagwa Atankvad? Why do you say Hindu Taliban? A good Muslim can want a Babri Masjid, but only a bad Hindu will want an Ayodhya Mandir built on the Ram Janmabhoomi. I do not understand this logic from Dr. Tharoor. He's a very good friend of mine. If anything, a good Indian would want a complete resolution of the Ram Janmabhoomi dispute at the earliest, and a very bad Indian like Kapil Sibal will go to court and say postpone it after 2019. But he has suddenly said that if you want Ram Mandir, then you're a bad Hindu. For the first time I have heard this. I can have my Makkah Medina. Sonia ji can have her Vatican. But you can't have your Ayodhya. Unfortunately, Shri Ram was born in one place. We cannot change that place. We believe entire world is Shri Ram's. Entire India is Shri Ram's. But he was born in that place, so if he is not going to get Ram Mandir there, then where do you suppose we will get Ram Mandir? We can't build it in Rome. But कम से कम देखिए, भारतीय सोसाइटी की स्ट्रेंथ इतनी है, और अवेकनिंग जब होती है तो उसकी स्ट्रेंथ इतनी होती है, जब समाज जाग जाता है तो उसकी स्ट्रेंथ इतनी होती है कि जो कल तक रोम रोम करते थे वो आज राम राम कर रहे हैं. अरे इतना राम राम कर रहे हैं कि उनका जन्युधारी धागा भी बाहर आ चुका है. मैं तो बोलता हूं बहुत अच्छी बात है. मैं तो खुश हूं। मैं तो कहता हूं कि कमरे के अंदर भी धागा बाहर रहना चाहिए, टोपी नहीं पहननी चाहिए वहां पे। मैं खुद कभी टोपी नहीं पहनता, ना टोपी पहनाता हूं। कमरे के अंदर कहेंगे 90% नहीं मिला वोट तो बर्बाद हो जाएंगे। कमरे के बाहर आते हैं तो बोलते हैं भाई मंदिर हम जाते हैं, हम सबसे अच्छे हिंदू है, ये तो हिंदू ही नहीं है। तो ये देखा, आज भी मैं अब आ रहा था, इससे पहले तो मैंने न्यूज लगाकर देखा तो कुछ बयान यही चल रहा है कि प्रधानमंत्री मोदी इज नॉट अ गुड हिंदू। भाई साहब अब मैं क्या बताऊं, ही इज नॉट अ गुड हिंदू, लेट God decide now who is a good Hindu or a bad Hindu. Now Rahul Gandhi will decide who is a good Hindu and a bad Hindu also. He was deciding till yesterday who is secular, not secular. Today he is going to decide who is a good Hindu and a bad Hindu. See, why has this topic come out? Rahul Gandhi can speak, and I am saying Rahul Gandhi because he represents a section of the political class that I feel is creating these divisions in society for no rhyme or reason, just for the sake of their political power. Is it a factor that Modi is a bad Hindu or a good Hindu? How many people from you care about whether Modi is a good Hindu or a bad Hindu? Please tell me honestly. Do you care about Modi being a Ram Bhakt, or do you care about Modi giving Ram Rajya? Please tell me, what is your accountability going to be based on, Ram Bhakt or Ram Rajya? That is the entire test. Please let us have our politics, let us have a narrative, let us have a discourse on Ghoshna Patra, not on Goth Patra, on Ram Rajya, not on Ram Bhakti, on who is doing more for Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Isai, and not about who in your perception is a good Hindu or a bad Hindu. And this appeal goes out to all sections of the political class. I am not saying only one class is guilty. But the time for Indian society has come to recognize, to identify the lurking threats within our society. The Chinese and the Pakistanis and all the people who want to destabilize our country, they have their jobs cut out. They don't need to send anybody across any borders. They have willing spokespersons, agents here, who someday bat for the Naxals, who on other days bat in the name of Dalit for their Dalhit, who use caste conflagrations to divide society, to divide communities, and then they use the religion card. They want to take India back to becoming what it was before independence, a conglomeration of princely states ruled by little dynasties. Dynasties, kunbas of jats and parivars. And that is why their political structures are also either caste-based structures or they are parivar-based structures. They can't see one India, united India. And therefore the onus is on us that don't let our politics make Indian society its casualty. Indian society and Indian traditions, Indian civilization is far older than Indian political history and Indian politics. And Indian politics will change, our systems of governance will change, but they will only be successful if at the core of all of this is our Bharatiyata. And that Bharatiyata will come from all the people of India. It will come from those who have always been a part of India. For 5,000 years, who've considered themselves to be Indian. The biggest challenge is for you to not feel ashamed about your identity. So the only message I can give you is to take a leaf out of my book. I, Shehzad Poonawalla, I am a Muslim by the accident of birth. I am a Hindu by culture. But by choice, by slogan, by commitment, and by conviction, I am only and only Indian, and you should also be only Indian. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, and I am sure that none of you, like other people in Rajasthan, there was a video, would have a problem if I ask you to close your fists and say with all the conviction in your command, Bharat Mata Ki! Bharat Mata Ki! भारत माता की थैंक यू। जय हिंद, जय भारत।